we go. I do believe we're live, so I'll say indeed. And greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. What a dear pleasure it is to have you here again on another conscious evolution. Another opportunity for us to consider the unexpected. Yes, unexpectedly. My sister brought friends home today, and it was one of those things where I opened my door to meet what I think is going to be my mom and my sister, and then there is four other people, people I don't know, one I kind of know, just there. All right, and I'm like, oh yeah, unexpected. Hey, Siobhan, it's nice having you here. And then in this unexpected space, instead of panicking, I just find myself being chill, extrally so, calm to the point where I don't make a big deal of it at all. And then a little bit later, my sister knocks on the door, basically like, I want to introduce you to my friends. And I go, nah. I still need to get ready before I'm ready to meet anybody. And I was just sitting with myself in that space thinking about that. And I was like, is that rude? Is that rude of me? Should I not be doing stuff like that? And I thought, no, it's very authentic of me, in fact. feels very much in line. And I want to talk about that from that perspective, right? That the way we process unexpected things is going to be different for every single one of us. And I have a very wide set of reactions, usually panicked. Usually. I don't know if panic is maybe the wrong way to say it, but like there's a certain sense of angstiness with the way that I move about my experience. Right? And today I was still angsty, TBH, but I didn't look like it. Pretended not to be. Pretended to be super calm, super cool about it. Super chillax is true. And here we are, unexpectedly so, finding ourselves in another day, sitting in the front garden. Get a little bit more background for us. It's nice having you here, dear friends. Have anything unexpected happened to you recently or as of late? I feel if you just had to look at things in general, Imari, this dust, Ilmari. Hey, things will be unexpectedly, right? I feel like we definitely are living in a world where more now than ever do we have a certain connection, let's just say, to the outside world, but at the same time, we have more uncertainty. We have more unexpected things happening, right? It's like this weird dichotomy of we have more information and more access to the world at large than ever before, and still the unexpected is affecting us just as much. This dude, no, I don't want you to sit on my lap. I don't know if you stink. Do you stink? He's like, why are you smelling? Smell you. Do you smell like stink? No, it doesn't smell like stink that much. Fine. Come here. Psst, psst. Hey, psst. You can sit on my lap. Fine. Still pretty dusty, but he's not stinking at the very least. This is fine. We got Anna as well. Hey, Anna. Oh, Sam came in with her internet name. That was unexpected. Whoa! You're right. Loyal is a Rose. I only saw her profile picture, so automatically knew who it is. Unexpected, I found a cat I found cat pee on my yoga mat. That was unexpected. You know, Sam, that happened to me the other day as well. I don't know if it was cat pee or dog pee, but also just a lot of it. Right, pee on my yoga mat. And then I proceeded to flip it over. I was like thinking to myself, because I'm pretty sure I still had to practice on it, because I only found out as I was getting ready for my yoga practice. All right. And I essentially like locked in, flipped the mat over, still could smell it. And then I pressure washed it afterwards. And I was just thinking to myself, like, how dare whoever did this do something like that? How dare they? I cannot believe my disappointment is immeasurable. And my day is ruined. Thank you, device, for doing as you do. I press the unlock button 3 times, just stays asleep. And real Brahmas, hey to you, friend, bless ya. Just realized my username changed. Weird. Maybe it's your at username now instead of your name username or something. Sam came in. Love is true. Can you please give me a reason why someone should live? You know, that is a pretty loaded question, VCD. And I used to ask myself that question as well, right? Especially so when you find yourself in a bad space, that question becomes extremely poignant, right? You end up asking it more than you usually do. And at one point in my life, especially as it related to the existential part of ourselves, right? The part of us that considers everything and then comes to some sort of conclusion. That part of us can come to the conclusion that it's not worth much, right? That it's all for naught or whatever. And even though, if you want to believe that it could potentially be true for you, what I have found works for me is the belief that love is true, right? That the reason I continue to live is because love is true. And that means to me this extension of basically one, love had to be true for me to exist in this moment right now, for me to live at all. Love needed to be true. And then because I enjoy, because I love living, I am alive right now. And because I believe there's more love for me to have in the future, there is something to live for, right? There is people to meet, there are places to see, there is types of foods to eat. There is still so much life waiting to be lived. And even though we live in interesting times, let's call it, where things might be more difficult in some ways than they've been before, I also do believe that things are going to change. And what is true for your life right now might not, probably won't be true for your life in the future. And all you can do right now is continue to live. So I implore you, do continue. Do continue to live. You hear that? People are saying you're a cute dog. They're saying you're a cute dog. He's malleable. He's malleable dog. He can be malleable. Ear muncher. I munchy ears. I make ear munchims. Yum 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 yum. Ear munchies. He's a sweetie patootie. He's a sweetie. Yeah. Aren't you a sweetest? A little duder. Uh, hey, you're still here. The person who asked. Uh, I'm sorry I asked. It's just been hard living in a dark place. It feels like no one believes me. No one trusts me. VCD, you don't have to apologize for asking these questions. You are very welcomed here. At the very least, right? I believe in you. I don't have anything to trust you with. But if you want my trust, I trust that you will continue to live. I trust that life will get better for you as you continue to show up for the things that you need to do. Do the hard things, friend. Exercise, move your body, get adequate sleep, and try your best to find things that you can be grateful for every single day. Little by little, we're gonna make it through, friend. It's the first line from a poem by Robert Burns. Love is the rose. Love is a red rose. And that is probably how it's supposed to be read. VCD. Living is the only way to experience change. There Chauvin goes with her wisdoms too. It's true. Living is the only way to get scritchums, right? Otherwise, you won't be getting some scritchums. You can't be getting scritchums if you're not alive. And look how stoked he is, right? He ain't got none going in that brain. He ain't got no thoughts, probably big old stupid in this brain. But look at how loving, look at how stoked just to get some scritchums, to be on someone's lapums, to be all warm. To be so unperturbed, all right? You too can achieve this level of zen, but you can only achieve it if you continue living. Yes. He's so unfazed. Like I sometimes try and give him attention irritatingly. He's just, he spotted Eva, not one of the cats. That's just Eva. That's just Eva, that. It's just Eva. You can go and chase her if you want to. Zoom, zoom, zoom. PCD. None of us can do that for you. The reason for you to live needs to come from you. And even though I believe that too, and it is true, every single one of us have had experienced love before, right? So in that way, that is true for us too. I want your dog. You hear that? Usurper dog heart. You are wanted. You are a wanted dogger. Trying to distract him. He's looking at Eva. uh, he probably doesn't even notice. All right, I'm back to chat again. Change is inevitable. Savor the good, for challenges will come. Endure the hard, endure the hard times with patience, for they too shall pass. Makes me happy to read these wisdoms coming from Jovan, echoing the same sentiments that I hold in my heart. Ugh. Love is true. I don't care if it's love, spite, or a $10 bet, you find a reason and you get back in the game. Yeah. Don't give up. Whatever you do, don't give up. The unexpected is always around the corner. Always. Journey of life, let it flow. My username is a pun about insulting people. Love is a red rose is a pun about insulting people. Maybe the rest of the poem is about insulting people. Could be. I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore, and it's too much pain, but I will try to live until my 17th birthday. That's a good age to go for. When I was around 16 was around my personal attempt at leaving. Fortunately, I failed. I'm happy to say. It's not the way, right? The only thing that you ensure when you take your own life is not that the pain goes away, is that it never has a chance to, right? You only take away the chance for things to get better. You don't take away the pain necessarily, because I believe in quantum immortality, which essentially means that either through actual infinity or through instant quantum reality. When you succeed at dying, and it's of your own choice, you have to repeat infinity or have to continue living until the point where you make a different choice, right? The one to continue existing. And that is the hard choice, but it's also the right one. It's also the only choice worth making, right? It's again, is it Camus? Let me check. I don't know if it's Nietzsche. It might be Nietzsche as well. Which philosopher posed that suicide is always an answer, at least? Or at least it should be a part of the question. Because the only thing that you really need to know is whether or not you do die, right? And as soon as you realize living is the answer, you just do. Please do illuminate to me which philosopher it is who said that. I butchered it, brutally so. But it's either Nietzsche or Camus, I feel. My friend, I'm sorry you're feeling this hurt. I sit with you in the ease. I sit with you in these feels. Allow yourself to feel them and to see the other side of them too. Being best friend to yourself. You're loved, loving, and lovable, and worthy of love. You just saw a cat. It's gonna. There goes the cat. There goes the dog. Freaking literal cartoonish bullshit. The dog is. Ah, it was Camus. It was Camus. I freaking got it. Albert Camus. 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 Albert Camus. The French Algerian philosopher and writer most famous for his works on absurdism. In the opening of the 1942 essay, The Myth of Sisyphus, Camus famously writes, there is but only one truly serious philosophical problem, and that is suicide. Judging whether life is or is not worth living amounts to answering the fundamental question of philosophy. No, no, no. Dogs that chase cats, no. Dogs that chase cats don't get to sit on my lap. Nope, nope. You are denied seating privileges because you scratched me in your attempt to go and not catch the cat. Yeah, I hold minor grudges, just like light grudges. Grudge light, just a little bit of grudge. Camus isn't advocating for suicide. Let's be clear. He's identifying it as the first and most honest question that you can ask. Right? And that's why I believe we as teenagers go through that journey. Right? So to give even more what's the word I'm looking for? Voice to your feels. Right? If life is if life has no inherent meaning, as the absurdist suggests, and we are aware of that meaninglessness, then we are stuck in a paradox. We crave meaning in a universe that offers none. That tension, the absurd, is the heart of his philosophy. Camus, Camus' conclusion is not despair, but defiance. He argues that once we become conscious of the absurd, the real choice is not suicide, but revolt. Oh. To live in spite of the absurd, to embrace life passionately without appeal to higher meaning, and to create one's own values and style of living. We had a whole conversation about style of living yesterday. How about that? Full circle. Thus, when you said, because the only thing that you really need to know is whether or not to die, right? And as soon as you realize living is the answer, you just do. You're absolutely echoing Camus' resolution. That once we have stated directly, once we have stared directly into the question of whether life is worth continuing, and we choose life, then we are free. We live not because life promises answers, but because we choose to give it meaning by living fully. In that spirit, Camus writes in Sisyphus, curses to roll writes of Sisyphus, cursed to roll a boulder endlessly uphill as one must imagine Sisyphus happy. Ooh, I do like that, right? This oak is pushing this rock up the hill forever, ever, forever, forever. But he's happy. He's like, I'm fucking doing it. I'm pushing this rock. Because in the act of embracing his fate, Sisyphus becomes stronger than it. So, yes, Camus poses the question, but his answer was not nihilism or retreat, it was conscious, rebellious, and joyful living. Choosing to live with full awareness is, in Camus' world, the most radical and beautiful act. Yeah, continue living, friend, even if it's all absurd, even if it's all for naught. Live as an act of defiance. As like, I'm gonna live anyway. Yo, I'm gonna live harder. I'm gonna enjoy this bite of food that I'm having even more. Just because. Just because I can. I really want to take away the pain, and if I do that, what am I trying to say? I tried when I was 13, and my brain tells me, just die, don't live, you are a burden. Yeah, some of us are unlucky enough, VCD, and I include myself in that statistic, to have had parents that have had made it apparent in one way or another that we are a burden to them, right? Financially or emotionally or time wise. And it is hard to convince a person otherwise after that belief system has set in place. But I'll echo the sentiment. It's not true. You are not a burden. In fact, you are of utmost importance. I started vaping this bowl and it tasted very not good. And I was like, this tastes like it's already been vaped. And upon my inspection, it was made clear that it is true. Adam Sums. We talked about you yesterday. Hendrik was here. He joined us in our stream. We mentioned you and you're looking for him too. Don't get excited or nothing, Adam. Yeah, don't get excited or over nothing, Adam. The sheriff is still watching for lawbreakers. Be scared. Be very scared. Multiple people here have walked through that particular darkness. It's hard finding yourself prepared to die and very much unprepared to live. Do you have any special interests to lean into? Sam is always asking such good questions. Do you have something to lean into? For me, it was technology. I could bear to live because I was curious what would become of our species and our technological prowess. I find that very fascinating. And I know not everybody do, but that can be one thing that you can look forward to, is that our species is going to continually technologically progress. And we're going to make cooler and cooler things. And as time continues, you will have access to greater and greater power. And you will be able to manipulate reality around you with more and more precision. And the fact that you're a 13-year-old in this world must be rough. It's a wild world we're in right now, admittedly. But at the same time, by the time you're 18, humanoid robotics is going to be mainstream, right? It's going to be as normal as seeing a vehicle, seeing a humanoid robot, right? And in that way, the challenges that will face you will be very different to the challenges that face us at this point, being adults in this world. But at the same time, I believe there will be even more room for you to be creative with the way that it is you are going to continue to exist. So, to reframe what I just said in another way, even if you don't like your life right now, even if you find it unbearable, know that with enough time, the only limit to what life you get to live is going to be your creativity. Right? The life that you can imagine for yourself, you'll be able to make. And it's not far away. Lean into that hope at the very least. That's what helps me. Yeah, love is true, love is true. Sam, we seem to have love-hate relationship. So instead of having kids, we're gonna have robots melt. I don't think it's like that necessarily, but also yes. I think it's more a matter of instead of expecting humans to continue being our unit of labor, we're going to make robots to replace that need. Right? That's basically 100% what's happening actively right now in front of us. Mm, that tastes a lot better. Oh, nah, Adam. If I'm giving you shiz, it's because I've decided I like you. I don't always communicate in a completely healthy way. Tell us about it. I hear you, Auntie Sam. We have VCD saying, am I a student? I am a student, probably. And my teacher, he is a great person and cares for me. But we get into fights, and he gets really worried about me. And I asked him, what would happen to me if I drink bleach? And he was so worried. Yeah, rightly so. We don't really like when our young people are having suicidal thoughts, VCD. And I can't help but be concerned as well, because there's like a few layers of concern that arise in my heart for you. There is, of course, the obvious concern of please don't do that, right? But then there's also the layer of concern of the fact that you share that information with me, and the fact that you share the information you did in this space as well, right? Because suicide is such a big deal, and it's something that we are so very dedicated to preventing, you might get a disproportionate amount of attention in the sharing of information like that, right? And especially in a world where we feel ever more isolated and unimportant, being able to garner some level of social sympathy by sharing information like that can be very addictive. And the addictive part of it isn't that big of a problem to me, because if you're addicted to telling people stuff like that, or more specifically, addicted to the response you get, the attention you get in that moment, what can end up happening is the identification of that state, right? As soon as you've garnered attention over and over again for being in that state, there becomes this, but like again, feedback loop, dopamine award ratio, if you will, for having shared that information, for having been that person, right? Like again, thinking of it like a familiarity. Ah, I feel bad. I share my bad feelings or hopelessness with someone that I care about, someone who has an authority role in my life, someone who has something to say potentially. And then there again is this familiarity and what you can expect from that experience. I say, I want to die. This person says, don't. Right. And again, that can become very addictive, is a word, patterned in nature can be another way to see it. And in that way, we fall into this pattern of self belief, right? Of image, of who we are. And then we end up like telling ourselves stories. Like, if I actually got better, if I ended up not being depressed anymore, will I still get attention from people, right? How am I going to engage in the world? Who am I? Who am I if I'm not depressed? Who am I in the world if I don't have all of these bad feelings on my back? Who am I if I don't want to die, right? Who am I if I want to live, right? And unfortunately, it's very difficult for us to start asking those questions once we are convinced of another answer. Look, I'm not going to do that, and I am in psychology. I'm just worried about my teacher. He was crying about me, and it hurts me because it's like a dad. Yeah, that's the big thing as well, dear friend, right? It's like in a decision like that, you don't really get to feel all of the pain, right, that that causes. Maybe not directly. Again, it's this level of personal disconnect almost, right? You leave the people that love you behind in your life, the people that are affected by that decision, by the consequences, of that decision. And again, it's a certain level of selfishness. But again, one that comes from a place of hopelessness as well. We don't have the same level of certainty that we're supposed to. The same support as a society as we need, I believe, at the very least. Man, there's just like wind gently rushing over me this whole time, slowly cutting through me bones. VDC, have you heard of Dr. K, the healthy gamer? Very good stuff online on YouTube. He covers topics like this very comprehensively and digestible. You might find his stuff helpful and interesting, especially being in psychology. It's true. I'm just worried, bless again. The world is certainly a heavy weight to carry. Just happens. What happens isn't your fault, but how you carry it is your responsibility. In that way, we can be the change we want to see. When we see discouragers discouraging someone, then we can be there to lift them up like we would have wanted. You are powerful in that way. Like, I haven't seen or had the opportunity to uplift someone who is being discouraged. But one thing that I really love doing is letting someone in on the loop, right? You probably had that experience before where you're having a conversation with someone and then someone else joins the conversation a little bit later and they don't know what the conversation was about. I love actually taking some time and including the person so that they know exactly what the conversation is about, right? And something like that. And you can do that in a friend group as well. It doesn't have to be on a one-on-one, right? Just making someone feel included, making them feel seen, right? And again, as Jovan said, you carry that power. You have that sight. What can I do to tell my teacher to not worry? You can continue to live, VCD. That's the best thing you can do, right? If 7 years have passed and you're still alive, guess what? Guess what, VCD? You want to guess? Your teacher is not going to be worried because you're going to be alive and you're going to thrive and you're going to live your life and it's going to be better than having died. I'm going to share some wisdom I got from Rick and Morty. Do you know why shy what shy pooping is? It's a pointless bid for control. And we can fight that, or we can choose to be free. Yeah, that episode. Is that a Morty line? That feels like it could be like a wise Morty line. But I imagine it's from the episode where he had that toilet with the incredible view, and then some stranger pooped in his toilet, and he killed him for it. I'm pretty sure he killed him for it, right? He did kill him. I think he killed him. Uh, yeah, I wonder. I hope that the microphone is doing a good job at cutting out all of that noise. The amount of time that's spent grinding things baffles my mind. Seems like there's always something being ground. Have you noticed? Uh, be honest with the teacher. Let him know that you're going through a hard time, and his consideration is something that you're appreciative of. Don't say sorry. Turn it around and say thanks. Thanks for holding space. Jovan is beautifully right again, sharing some good wisdoms. Yeah. The toll of being people. I can only imagine how extra it must be being a teacher as well. The amount of time you spend with so many different souls, so many different people come through your life over time. I wonder if there is a sense of disconnect that is intentional, or if it's more a matter of I almost want to say like circumstantial relationships can arise. You might find yourself connecting with a student more than others. I can't even imagine. I mean, technically, I can. I don't have to imagine. In fact, I can remember some students at the schools that I taught at in China just had better vibes to them. Kind of vibes, right? Like I was like, I like this kid's vibe. He shows up, he tries, all right. Like I feel like it's an enthusiasm thing. It's like humans respond well to enthusiasm. If we see that sense of disconnect, we disconnect ourselves. I am really good in art, and my teacher is the one who supported me in my art. And I look and look. I really feel sad, and I want to live, but just want to go somewhere no one knows me and come back. VCD, it's interesting to hear you say these things because I found myself having the same feelings when I was going through my depression as well. Those exact same feelings, specifically the ones of wanting to go away to a place nobody knew me, right? And there was, and I shared this before, and maybe I can share it in this moment too. There was this belief in me that if I could leave and go and be somewhere else, then suddenly I would be happy because I would have some sort of control over how I was perceived, right? All of the stories I was telling myself about who I was in that place, I could suddenly be given a new opportunity to tell new stories, right? And unfortunately, even though that could potentially work, VCD, where you go to, as you said, somewhere where no one knows you, and then you can come back after some time having reshaped yourself, That process of reshaping yourself is an active one, right? It's happening right now. It doesn't have to happen there where someone doesn't know you. Like you can literally just stay in the exact same spot you are, and 10 years can pass, and you will be like basically 10 different people in those 10 years, right? Maybe a little bit less, depending on how much extra stuff you do. But if you had to take a snapshot, right, meet you once a year, every year, as a stranger, you would be a complete different stranger to me. And there is something to be said in that process of growth as well. Like trust in your own resilience. You said it yourself. You want to live. You want to live, but and then there are these conditions that we think needs to be met to like really live. Like, oh, I want to live, but I want to live while having a lot of money. I want to live, but I want to live having perfect health. I want to live, but I want to live while having a relationship with somebody. And then every single time we create these conditions we think needs to be met, we almost like take away the importance of the first statement, the I want to live one, right? Because that I want to live is an act of love that you give to yourself. And then everything else, once you realize that's the real core of your existence, that's the real important part that you need to honor, everything else comes after that. New friends have taught me that in so many ways. And it's beautiful that we get to now show up and teach that lesson together. DCD, I feel like you are me from 15 years ago. I love how me and Jovan have that same synchronicity too. Psychology, art, a certain isolation. Are you a middle child? My friend, this pain we feel truly does make us stronger, more empathetic. She's completely right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're doing well. Hey, user. It's nice having you here. Thank you for joining us. Be a friend to that darkness. Every single thing goes through a cycle of birth, growth, sustain, decay, and death. Good experiences, thoughts, lessons, bad experiences. Feel everything. But don't let the feels overstay their welcome. Remember to breathe and focus on the breath. Focus on the sensations of being, and the additives will fall away, if even for a moment. Beautifully said. VCD, I bet letting your teacher know that was made, he has made a difference in your life will make a difference in his life. And you might find that making a difference for others is worth living for. That's beautifully said. Mojo is completely right, right? Echoing the love that you have for that teacher, or the effort, that you've noticed they've actually brought into your experience, reminding them that they've made a difference, as Mojo said, is beautifully apt. Ah, it is Moon Knight. It seems that there is some username changing happening today. The usernames have been changed. I'm giving my ears a chance to be warm. This is the new look. It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. I feel like I'm a soldier on a cold planet. I should have like a small little head visor too. Roger, Roger. Yes, Commander. Mission done. Part of me doesn't want to let go of this little part that I'm pinching. It's gonna go away. Clear thought. Moon Knight. The Moon Knight. I'm pretty sure Moon Knight is Marvel IP. I and Henry breach their system, so we are the most wanted. I hate when that happens. I hate when you breach their system and become most wanted. That always grinds my gears. Almost like that sound is grinding mine. I have known this teacher for 6 years now and listened to everyone in the school about their problems, but he is not even a school counselor. Yeah, I think when you're a teacher, you don't really get to choose. You are teaching kids, literal children. Listening needs to be a part of the gig. It's very much like the whole "it takes a village to raise a child" kind of thing. It's the way I see it, at least. Sam, you changed your name. You too, Moon Knight, apparently. I think there's just some weirdness of display names happening where it's choosing to display the at usernames instead of the old usernames or the full usernames or the set usernames. You now have to use your at username and you could potentially go and change it. I don't know if you chose at user dash at 666 dash n4x. I am close to my limits. The grinding sounds has become a little bit too much for me. I'll show you something pretty, and then I'll say you a goodbye. I'll wave you off into the distance. I'll see you on the other side. Should I bring this thing closer? Will definitely be more comfortable for me. Yeah, 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 yeah. Like the effort he does for everyone is amazing. Teacher, I'm so grateful to have him as my teacher. You should write him a letter. You should write him a letter and say all of these things. VCD. Make it clear all of the things that you've seen. This teacher has a heavy heart to carry. Bless him. The kind of person who is the change they want to see. Exactly. Being the teacher they would have wanted to have. Yeah, reflecting trees. With the flower too. We're done, so. Let's see if this piece of writing can help as well. If it hits a spot and it relates a little bit. Bro, I am the teacher who's not any less than an abuser. Bro, I have teachers who's not any less than an abuser. I know. I'm not saying all teachers are great. We're saying this teacher that this friend is talking about is trying to be the teacher they would have wanted. All right. If you're gonna want a teacher, you're not gonna want one that's abusive. And if you're gonna be a teacher, then you shouldn't be one that is abusive. Right. I think that's the lesson we're extracting. The signal. Style isn't something to chase. It's something that arrives when we're honest, when we're present, when we show up as we are. Not to impress, but to express something real, something felt. Love is true, not a slogan, a way of seeing, a way of moving, a quiet fire beneath everything. Art happens when we pay attention, when we stop performing and start becoming. Style follows that, not the other way around. It's not about standing out, it's about tuning in, being the kind of presence that helps others remember who they are too. A signal, not a spotlight, a ripple, not a rule. I appreciate you, dear friends, for being who you are here with me. Now I am scared to write the letter. I mean, again, right? If you don't like it, write another one. And if you don't like that one, write another one. And if you don't like that one, this is gonna be the hot take. Write another one. All right. And the more you write, the less scared you'll become. And the better of a writer you'll be. Maybe alongside your art one day, you'll also get to write beautiful messages about that whole creation. Ask ChatGPT to help you. You could. You definitely could. All right. You can tell ChatGPT roughly all of the things that you've seen your teacher do, the nice things they've said to you, the effort you appreciate they brought into your life, and ask ChatGPT, help me compile all of this information in a heartfelt letter thanking them for these influences they've had on my life. All right. And then you can read it and you can see if it resonates with you, if it's true for your heart. Bro, write it from your heart, unburdened, express your feelings, purpose. If she's young, it's really hard for me to be positive in writing a letter. Yeah, there you go. Have ChatGPT help you. Write your letter the way you want to. Sad. Be like, oh, and it sucks to be alive, but at least you made it kind of worth it. And then you put all of that in ChatGPT and be like, this can seem kind of grim. Can you help chipper it up a little bit? Make it feel a little bit more happy go lucky. Make it seem like I'm 10% more smile. And then see what it gives you. You got this, VCD. You got so much technologies on your side at this point. All of us want you to succeed. We want to see you succeed. We want to see you do great. How often do you do something for yourself? Do that first. Be your friend. Yeah. Read Dostoevsky. I think that person is 13. Moon Knight. Person is still 13. Dostoevsky might be a little bit much. I made it. Good day. Hey, hoopties. It's nice having you. We're just about finished, but it was nice having you here for a moment. To be here with us, to share this space, this warm light as the sun sets behind me. I wonder, should I continue streaming until the sun has officially set? Ah, definitely could. I just moved myself a little bit more into the beams. Get some of that red light on me. Yes, I can feel it penetrating my brain. It does, you know. Did you know that? Red light just goes all the way into you, goes all the way into your bone marrow. It doesn't stop, it just goes. So there's red light inside my brain right now. How's my brain feeling about that? Kind of stoked. Feels like there's blood flow happening. Yes, flow blood. Flow of all of that red light illuminating your experience. Bro, I'm also 13, but I proposed to my biology teacher. I don't know if that is accurate information, but if that is, that might be one of the most unhinged sentences I've ever read in my life. Bro, I'm also 13, but I proposed to my biology teacher. What? You know what now? You should stop. Stop that. Oh, goodness. What is it about? Rupio. Seconding Joe's right. There's this idea in yoga that you are your own divine teacher, and teaching yourself how to be kinder to your body, your experiences is only something you can learn from you. Yeah. That is one of those truths that's very hard to learn, unfortunately, Sam. And it's one of those that you have to spend a lot of time in self exploration to understand. But you will get there. You will get there, even if it takes you a lifetime. It's where we're going. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm getting more of that red reds. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, bring this device close to me so I can read what you have to say. Yes. Red light me. I did put on sunscreen as well. Huzzah. Huzzah us. I'm trusting I'm only getting the good stuff. Hook me up, doc. Doctor Sunlights. Give me the stuff that doesn't give me the cancers, please. Please, sir. Brain is the only place that doesn't sense itself. They say so, but I don't know if I believe them. I can have brain sensations. Hmm. Thank you so much. I needed a lot of advice. Thanks. I feel like living more now. You helped me more than my actual psychologist. And I will write a letter to my teacher being positive. That is such a massive compliment to our community. You friends showed up and made someone feel better. We're happy you do VCD. We're super stoked that we got to a point where we can agree on the writing your teacher a letter to thank them for all of their love, right? And again, as you said, a positive letter, right? Not one that's going to make them worry more, but one that's going to make them feel extra seen. Thing that's going to be extra appreciated. To handle information like that. And she did accept. She gave me her Insta ID, and I am the only student who has her ID. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about this information, bro. And either you need to stop sharing it with me, or I need to start doing something with it. It's like your teacher should not be accepting your marriage proposals. I must run. Gotta get crack-a-lacked by a chiropractor. Love you, beautiful humanimals. Love you, Joe. Happy you're getting crack-a-lacked by someone. Getting all of that good mobilities. Sending you blessings. Good night. If I have any advice, you should run from that woman. There we go. Thank you, Joe. I love how me and Jovan are so perfectly in sync. And then I'll read the comments, and then it's like, oh, someone said the same thing I said, but differently. You know, mine was like, yeah, I need to do something about this. This teacher is up to no good. Who is they? I just said it. Why, Joe? Because grooming isn't okay, exactly, as Chauvin said, right? Neither way is it okay. Because if they have to date younger, it's because they're on some shit everyone their age disapproves of. Bro, but she's beautiful. It's not about beauty, it's more about brain maturity, right? Like if two consenting adults with mature brains, right? And our brains mature closer to age 25 than it does to age 18. But that's beside the point. Two people that have mature brains, right, that can make a decision based on the evidence that they have gathered themselves, right? And as a 13-year-old, you do not have the faculties to make good decisions just yet. and you're also actively getting pumped with testosterone and a whole other plethora of neurochemicals. So your your physiology is also telling you things that's also not very wise, right? And again, a teacher in that environment is supposed to be the professional. It's supposed to be the almost like the sane one. The teacher is supposed to be the sane one in that environment, right? So if the teacher is encouraging the insanity, then we're like on a road. We're on a road to a bad place. She's only 23. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, bro. Again, she's also not an adult just yet. Oh, jeez. So much yikes. Maximum bow yikes because of this. I got full marks even after writing shit. Like you're only giving me more layers of yikes. Oh, like you're not defending your case, bro. I am far more mature than her two boyfriends. She has two boyfriends. The amount of layers of yikes. The more I hear, the more yikes. Please, please cease to say things. Sounds like really that messes with your brain. Yeah, exactly. She ain't an adult then either. Fuck yeah, you see. And stop bragging about the imaginary shit. That's what I was like detecting as well. The fact that there's just like yikes upon yikes upon yikes kind of gave away to me that this is probably just some imaginary bullshit. But it is what it is. I don't know if she's serious or not, but I am serious. I am serious about finishing this live stream. I have read my poem. I've showed you a flower. I've had a conversation today about the unexpected. Yeah, bet your ass I did not expect that this is how this stream was gonna end. I appreciate you for joining me. Love is true. I'll see you friends again real soon. Tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody. Until we do it again. Cheers.